So, you want to reach Grand Champion in Rocket League. Well, lucky for you, you have found yourself in the right place. In this video, we'll be covering all of the skills that you need to achieve that goal, and providing you with ways to improve in each of those areas. Before we get started, I do want to stress that this is not going to be a video where I sit here and act like in order to reach the higher levels of Rocket League, you need to be able to do mechanics like flip reset consistently, ceiling shot, or anything like that. I have made it to and retained Grand Champion in every season since Season 3, without doing any of these mechanics consistently. With that said, let's talk about all of the skills that you do need to reach Grand Champion in Rocket League. Out of all the skills in Rocket League, the one that is probably the most important to reaching the higher ranks is awareness. And the reason being is honestly pretty simple. If you have two evenly matched teams in terms of mechanical skill, but one of those teams is fully aware of everything that is going on the field and the other is not, which one do you think is going to win? Obviously, the team that is more aware. The simple fact is, if you are aware of what's happening on the field, it is easier for you to respond to it. So now the big question is, how do we improve this awareness? What can we do to allow us to better understand what's happening on the field? And the answer is very simple. Replay analysis. Now, when a lot of people think about replay analysis, what they probably imagine is looking at ourselves and what we're doing and how we're controlling the ball and things like that. But in this instance, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on everything else but ourselves. We're going to take ourselves completely out of it and we're just going to look at what's happening with the other players around the field, because what they do will shape what we do. So I have a replay pulled up here and we are just going to look at a few moments from this, not going to go very deep at all, and we're going to kick it off right here in this moment. So we're going to immediately stop paying attention to ourselves. We don't care about this at all. We want to look at these guys over here. So let's see what we can figure out from looking over there. Well, looking at my teammate, with how far pushed up the field he is, it appears that he cheated on kickoff. Additionally, this boost is still here, so we can assume our teammate is fairly low on boost and is just going to be applying pressure here. We can see that Parker has just picked up the mid boost for the blue team and is going to be rotating back towards his own net. And Doper here has just caught the ball and it looks like he's taking the ball back to his own corner, probably to pick up that boost, and then maybe he'll carry the ball out this way or over this way. One of the two. We expect Doper to go for some kind of control play in this instance. So with that in mind, what that tells us is that we really don't have an immediate play to make. We don't want to make any hard commitments in any random direction because we don't know where the play is going. So we're just going to pick up this boost, circle around, and wait to see what happens next. So as we roll this forward here, we can see that Doper picks up that corner boost there, and now he's taking the ball up the wall. And now looking at this situation, we can see, okay, based on his angle heading this way, it doesn't look like he's going to be controlling the ball down the field. It looks like instead it's going to be heading over towards this wall, so we might want to start shading over that way to be able to cut it off. Parker is rotating into net at this near post here, but it looks like he's heading in this general direction, not quite sure where he's going to stop, and our teammate is applying pressure up the wall on Doper just to make sure he actually does something. So as we said, we see the ball coming across this way, so obviously we don't want to dive forward, we don't want to dive over to the corner. It looks like the ball is going to be coming to the sidewall, so that's where we're going to want to go so we can cut off that play. So we'll see, yep, it's going over towards the sidewall, but now we've noticed that the ball has hit off the ceiling and our opponent here does not have control of the ball anymore. So if we take a look, our teammate is rotating out. Presumably, as we know, he doesn't have a lot of boost, so he's probably going to pick up some boost right now. Either pads or going all the way back to our own half for one of the corners. We can see Doper, obviously, as we said, not going to get back to the ball here, and Parker is kind of stuck here at the near post, so he can't really make much of a play. So as we can see that this is going to be a free ball, using all the information that we have, what we want to do is we want to approach this ball so that we can chip it around Doper and into an awkward spot for Parker. So probably up here to the backboard. And then after we chip that ball up, we have two options. We can either follow it up into the air and try to go for the double tap, or we can ignore the ball entirely and go demo Parker. Again, in this situation, we see our teammate rotating back, so maybe going for a demo and trying to leave open space isn't the best option, because it seems like our teammate isn't going to be here. So with that information, we should let this ball come down, drive into it, chip it up to the backboard, and go for the double tap ourselves. So let's see what we decide to do. And you can see it's just a total giveaway of possession, gave the ball away for free, completely unthreatening touch, roughly towards the net, wasn't even on target. But this is why it's so important to look at everything else around the field. Based on the information we had available to us, there was a much better decision we could have made, and we didn't make it because we were too tunnel visioned on the ball and looking at what we were going to do with that, instead of focusing on what opportunities we had available to us because of the positioning and the situation everyone else on the field was in. The next skill we want to talk about is control. Now, when a lot of people think about control, what they might imagine is controlling the ball through the air on an air dribble, or dribbling and flicking people and then getting back to the ball and flicking another player, just absolutely obliterating the other team with control of the ball. Now, that stuff is fantastic and all. We all love to make great plays with the ball, but you don't find yourself in those positions all the time. A situation you do find yourself in quite often is moments where you have space and time on the ball, and if you're not confident in your ability to just catch the ball and take it under control, you largely end up just letting the ball come to you, hitting the ball as hard as you possibly can, which normally makes it go as far away from you as possible, and generally just gives control of the ball back to your opponents. At the end of the day, the team that controls the ball more has more of a chance to win. So now, when we talk about control, how can we train this? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go into free play here, and we're going to utilize one of the handy-dandy controls that Rocket League gives us here in free play. And that control, if you look in the upper left, is something called pass ball. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of drive around the field, and we're going to use this control to get the ball to be passed to us. And then our goal is to just take the ball under control and put it somewhere safe. So we'll see, we'll pass the ball to ourselves here. We'll go ahead and catch it and then get back to it so we can make a play with it. Same thing here. Okay, we'll catch this and make a play with it. And now doing this is so beneficial because it makes life so much easier when you have free balls in a game. If you're not used to catching the ball and putting it somewhere safe, this is what you're gonna do. Just hit it away from yourself as hard as you possibly can, no control, just bang it away, and doing that often results in the opponent just continuing to attack. So even if you don't have the skills to like control the ball in the air, it is very easy to get a ball like this. You go ahead and catch it, you roll it along the ground, and you pop it out. And even that gives you more control over the play than just banging the ball away. So I highly encourage you to just take the time to train catching the ball and even find ways where you can do it in odd situations. So like right here, it's on the backboard, so that's a little bit weird, but we're gonna work on catching it there and then getting back to it and making a play on it. It's all about catching the ball initially and then being able to make some kind of follow-up touch. Doing this will bring your opponents towards you and will allow you to dictate how the play is going to go. If you constantly hit the ball away from yourself, all you're doing is allowing your opponent to dictate the play. The third skill we want to talk about is shooting. Now, this one seems fairly obvious. Clearly, the team that shoots better is the team that's going to win. But so many players do not put the time into practicing shooting that is necessary to get good at it. So many people will just go into a training pack, make sure they put the ball into the net, and be satisfied with it regardless of how it goes in, even if it's the worst shot on the face of the planet and would be very easily saved. So how can we fix this? Well, there's two drills that will do a great job of helping to improve two very important areas of shooting. The first area is placement, and the second area is confidence. I've left out power from this discussion because generally if you shoot confidently, you will often shoot with power. And placement is simply the most important thing when it comes to shooting. The first drill we're going to talk about is something called lightning shooting. Now this is largely going to work on building our confidence. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the ball up here in the middle of the field. We're just going to boost at it as fast as possible, chip it off to the side, wait for the bounce, and then go ahead and attack it off of that. So what this does is it's going to train us to read backboard bounces, it's going to train us to attack the ball quickly, it's going to allow us to build our confidence in our ability to put the ball on target quickly from all sorts of different angles. Even if it's not the most powerful, even if you miss, it's alright, we're just working on building our ability to shoot. And what this is going to do overall is it's going to allow us to confidently strike shots in games. So many times people will have an opportunity to put a shot on target on pretty much an open net, and all they have to do is attack the ball quickly. But because they're so worried about missing the open net, they end up doing something like this. So the ball bounces off the wall, oh gosh, I don't know if I can hit it correctly, and now it's weak and really easy to save, and because we've taken so long to actually run up and take the shot, the defense has been able to get back, and the net is no longer open. So we really want to just focus on going as quickly as we possibly can, even chipping the ball off the corner maybe, just so we can get used to confidently striking the ball, and doing this will make a huge difference when you have opportunities like this in a game. For the second shooting drill, we want a very simple training pack. So I'm going to go here to Silver Goals in September of 2022. I'll drop this pack code down in the description so you guys can access it. Now in here, there's going to be all kinds of just incredibly simple shots. Obviously, it's a silver training pack. But what we want to do here is we want to train our placement. So we're actually going to score each of these shots 4 times, each time to a different area of the net. So the first one we're going to go ahead and place it into the lower left, then the second one we're going to go ahead and place to the upper left. That wasn't upper left enough, let's try that again. There we go. Third one we're placing to the lower right, not low enough. Lower right, there we go. And the last one we're placing to the upper right. Perfect. So that is going to be how we're going to train our placements. And the important thing is that we're not going to cheat ourselves here. If we say that we're going to place the shot into the lower left corner, we are not moving on until we place that ball into the lower left corner. We're not going to say, oh, yep, I scored it. Even though I was aiming for the lower left, it went to the upper right. It's fine, it still went in the net. That's not how this drill works. So on each of these shots, score it 4 times, each one to a different corner of the net, and it will greatly improve the way you can shoot in a game. The last skill we're going to mention here is defense. Now, obviously, if you can keep your opponent from scoring, you're gonna be in pretty good shape to win a lot of games. So how can you work on defense? If we take a look, we can see there is a control that says defend shot, and if we press that button, the ball is going to come flying at the net. So what we're going to do here is we are just going to practice making saves, and the point here is that we want to make the saves to a safe area. So like that one, not very good, because I put it right back out into the midfield. And you know, sometimes the ball is going to come at us from very awkward angles, and we got to try to do our best to recover out of it and get back to the ball. What we want to be able to do on each of these saves is number 1, hit the ball to a safe place, and number 2, recover out of the save so that we can get back in the play if needed. Now I will say if you are on PC and you do have Bacchus mod, I highly recommend installing the Defender plugin. This basically will do the exact same thing as the Defend Shot control, but it will allow you to have it automated so the game just sends shots at you at various intervals. So let me go ahead and enable this for 1 second, just so you can see kind of what it does. I'll chip the ball away, and then we'll position ourselves to play defense, and here comes the ball. We're going to go ahead and save it. Okay, we'll recover back to net. Here comes the ball again, and it just allows us to work on making saves and recovering out of it so we can make another save. So if you do have Bacchus Mod, I highly recommend installing this plugin. It is a great one, and it's actually lots of fun to test your saving ability on these shots. But of course, if you don't have Bacchus Mod, you're not on PC, you can very easily do the exact same thing just with the defend shot control. Now, the last thing that'll really help you improve your defense, as well as pretty much every other element of your game, is playing 1v1. Playing ones simply makes you better at the game, because there is no one there to bail you out for your mistakes. If you make a mistake, you pretty much get immediately punished. But it's also a great area to train pretty much all of the things we've talked about here. You have your awareness training. You can get used to this by just focusing on a single car on the field. Making sure you don't have to focus on multiple cars, you can just keep your attention on one and make sure you're aware of what their situation is and what they're trying to do. Then you have the control element. Because there is only one other player on the field, you will have plenty of opportunities to take the ball under control, catch it in weird situations, and proceed to work it back out of your own half. As great as it is to be able to do it in training, you need to be able to train yourself to do it under the pressure of a live game situation, and 1v1 is a great arena to do that in. And then of course you have shooting and defense. In 1v1 you'll get plenty of live reps of our drills, both opportunities where the net is open and you have to hit the ball into it as quickly as you possibly can, and opportunities where there is a defender set up in net and you have to place the ball around them to be able to score. This will all help to elevate your fundamental shooting ability. And then obviously you have defense. You're not going to get any more opportunities to defend than you will in 1v1. We've been working on saving shots that have been coming at us, recovering, and getting back to the ball. We'll get plenty of opportunities to do that in a live 1v1, possibly even multiple in a row as shot after shot comes at us. You should now feel equipped with all of the skills that you will need to reach Grand Champion in Rocket League. Obviously, there are a ton of other skills that are extremely beneficial. Things like positioning, rotations, boost management. The problem with a lot of these is that there's not really drills that you can do to hone in on them all that easily, so if you want to learn more about a bunch of other areas of the game that will help you get better, I highly recommend that you check out the Keys to Rocket League series on my channel. I'll have a card right up there in the corner that can take you to it. That series will have a bunch of great information that will help you take your game to the next level. Of course, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you'd like to be more involved in this community, please consider joining my Discord link down in the description. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.